The silent passenger. The night begins. Sarah loved working late shifts at her job in a small-town diner. The quiet roads on her drive home helped her unwind after serving noisy customers all day. It was 11:30 p.m. when she finally clocked out, tired but relieved to head home. She grabbed her keys, waved goodbye to her coworker, and walked to her car under the dim glow of the streetlights. The road was desolate, as usual, and the faint hum of her car engine was the only sound she could hear. Sarah adjusted her rearview mirror and frowned. A pair of headlights appeared in the distance, moving closer. A persistent shadow. At first, she thought nothing of it. Cars occasionally shared the road even at this late hour. But as she drove on, the vehicle behind her maintained the same distance. It didn't pass her, didn't slow down, just followed. She changed lanes. So did the car. She sped up. The headlights stayed right behind her. Her chest tightened as unease settled in. She checked her phone but resisted the urge to call someone. Maybe she was overreacting. Trying to shake them off, Sarah decided to test the driver. She took an unexpected turn onto a side street she rarely used. The car followed. Her pulse quickened. She turned again, this time onto an empty road leading out of town. The vehicle mirrored her every move. The realization hit her. Someone was following her. The gas station spotting a small 24-hour gas station ahead, she pulled in abruptly, hoping the driver would move on. The car slowed as it passed the station but didn't stop. Sarah exhaled shakily. Maybe she was imagining things. She stepped out of her car and pretended to check her tires, glancing nervously down the road. When she felt safe enough, she got back into her car and continued driving. The return of the headlights. The relief was short-lived. Barely 5 minutes later, the same headlights appeared in her rearview mirror. This time, they were closer, almost tailgating her. Sarah's hands gripped the steering wheel tightly as panic set in. She decided to call her best friend, Lisa. The phone rang twice before Lisa picked up, her voice groggy. "Sarah." "What's wrong, Lisa? Someone's following me. They've been on my tail for miles. I don't know what to do. Where are you on Route 9, heading home?" "I tried losing them, but they keep finding me." "Drive to my place. I'll wait outside." A desperate escape. Sarah nodded, even though Lisa couldn't see her. She took a sharp turn toward Lisa's neighborhood, her tires screeching against the asphalt. The car behind her followed, its headlights glaring in her mirrors. Her breathing was shallow as she pulled onto Lisa's street, spotting her friend standing on the curb in her pajamas. Sarah screeched to a halt, jumped out of the car, and ran to Lisa. The following car didn't stop. It sped past them and disappeared into the night. The mystery deepens inside Lisa's house. Sarah recounted the events, her voice trembling. "It was like they were playing with me. They didn't try to stop me or get out of the car, just followed me." Lisa frowned. "Maybe it's just some creep." "Did you get the license plate?" Sarah shook her head. "I was too scared to focus on anything but getting away." Lisa tried to reassure her, but Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something was still wrong. The discovery. The next morning, Sarah decided to clean her car, hoping the routine task would calm her nerves. As she opened the back seat to remove some trash, her heart stopped. Sitting on the floor of the back seat was a small, crumpled piece of paper. Her hands trembled as she unfolded it. Scrawled in messy handwriting were the words, "Thanks for the ride." The police panic-stricken, Sarah called the police. An officer arrived within the hour, examining the note and her car. He checked the locks, but there was no sign of forced entry. "Are you sure you didn't leave your car unlocked?" the officer asked. "I'm positive," Sarah insisted. "I always lock my doors." The officer's expression was skeptical but professional. "We'll keep an eye out, but it's probably just a prank. Let us know if anything else happens." The silent passenger. That night, Sarah couldn't sleep. Every sound made her jump, and she double-checked all the locks in her house. Around 2 a.m., she decided to go to the kitchen for water. As she passed the living room, she froze. Through the window, she could see the faint outline of a person standing across the street. They weren't moving, just standing there, watching. Her phone was on the kitchen counter. She crept toward it, keeping her eyes on the figure. When she glanced down for a split second to unlock her phone, the figure was gone. Paranoia sets. In days turned into weeks, but Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. She started noticing small things. Her car seat moved slightly, her front door unlocked when she was sure she'd locked it, and faint noises in the middle of the night. Lisa tried to comfort her, but EA